Microphone check. Check. Microphone. Okay, where? Waveform. Check. There you go. Okay, so what we have is a bit of a situation when it comes to Queensland wildfires, and of course, tropical cyclone, Cyclone Jasper. That's going to be a Category 3 equivalent cyclone. This is concerning, and the reasons why is you have a strengthening storm that's pulling and drawing a lot of air. You see the wind. It's causing this channel. That right here. As this continues to spiral, it'll approach and it's going to squeeze this area of wind pressure. Air pressure going to explode. Why is this important? Because we saw what a hurricane can do, fuel a neighboring wildfire in Hawaii, down Lahaina. This is literally barreling towards Queensland, Australia. Its northeast side. It's kind of curving up now. Now, the storm is going to want to continue curving, because what happens when the storm reaches land? It dies. It starts its slow death. It wants to be over water where it doesn't have to lift itself up, put itself up on land. It's literally just nope, 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 nope. Doesn't want to reach land. Nobody wants this cyclone to reach land. It's going to reach land, but it looks like it's going to dissipate after Sunday or Monday and head into the northern peninsula as a tropical disturbance after it decays. But what happens whenever it's ripping out all of that air? It's carrying away air pressure and it's throwing it against the wall. I'm not saying this is going to be catastrophic, but the threat is very real when it comes to how close this hurricane is coming. I'm gonna call it a hurricane or cyclone. It really just dictates which side of the earth it's going in on, or for southern hemisphere. This is going to be a Category 4 tropical cyclone, the same as saying a Category 4 hurricane. So if I say Category 4, it's just referring to this storm becoming Category 4 Friday midnight. Friday noon, 110 miles an hour, Category 3 tropical cyclone, followed by Category 2 Sunday afternoon to Monday afternoon, Category 2 tropical cyclone, where it might just take a death in the Coral Sea before it comes up on shore as a tropical disturbance. Um, so far, it's just going to be projected here, and where other modeling will have it. But again, it's Queensland has had a lot of rain lately, a lot of precipitation. It's let's take a look at this. Take a look at the moisture level in the little guy right there. Drought. Queensland, much drought. Western Australia is having a bad time. They had some precipitation that rained over the southwest side of Western Australia, but it's not enough, and they're seeing a lot of extreme uh, droughts. It's spreading into southern Australia as well. These are where wildfires were there before that we covered in southern Australia. It's in the northwestern part of southern Australia. And Queensland's seeing a little bit of uh, drought, but this storm is going to just. It's going to be very moist. Speaking of which, moist. We can see how moist Queensland already is before the storm reaches shore. So, projected pattern of this storm coming up here, where it'll probably, as the tropical disturbance are less after the X. Actually, right here is where they have it. So tropical disturbance, where it just becomes a storm. Now, the important thing is, Australia on its whole east coast is seeing a staggering amount of moisture and precipitation compared to the beginning of the fire season in August for Australia. Now, what this is going to cause flooding. Lots and lots and lots of flooding. The ground is already moist. The ground's already saturated. There's no more that the ground can take. So it's going to create massive amounts of flooding. Generally, I haven't covered flooding because most of the time it's difficult to see the effects of flooding at the resolution of satellite that I'm able to use. Um, when New Hampshire, no, I'm sorry, when Vermont flooded early in the year, I covered that because that was very, very discernible on satellite because those valleys filled up with water immediately. Just immediate floods all the way to the lakes. As you can see, like this whole, take that away. All of this right here, let's say right here. Got it? That's where it's projected to die. This could change. It can change. It's already going to be a Category 4 tropical cyclone, which is severe. It's really severe. As we have wildfires that are burning in Queensland. We have saturated moist soil, which means that you're going to see probably record amounts of flooding for the season as well. And three, this hurricane isn't going any further south, so all of this is going to get rain, And all of this is not. So we're going to see a separation of moisture soil ratio. As we can see the soil moisture levels looking really good in the upper northern territory and the whole east coast. Western Australia, though, these fires earlier in the fire season from northern territory to western territory were racing across the entire continent, coming so close to Broome here. I would consider this an emergency because people need to be prepared, not just for the rain, not just for the flooding, not just for the crested river, the busted riverbanks, but also for the wind that's going to be generated as this approaches land. Get a good glimpse of this particle animation. I'm using EMCWF. Gonna so after this comes down here, it's gonna stall out over the Coral Sea, not make contact, and it's going to dissipate over the sea between Papua New Guinea and Queensland. Even if this doesn't come on land, it is ripping out air. It's tearing out moisture. This is going to be a battle. If there are any wildfires that exist currently before this thing, which they are, we'll take a look at them. There are wildfires burning in Queensland. But this, they got a few days. It's going to be a lot of rain, and it's going to rip a lot of air currents straight out of the ground. The problem with that is going to fan a lot of fires, especially if there's lightning. If there's any lightning sparked wildfires. If there's, let's say that there's a large bonfire, and this storm rips those flames up at 120 miles an hour, and it's going to lay its pressure down on it and pull it towards it, and you're going to see that those flames start pulling and racing across the ground. Now this is just an early estimate of where this pattern. Let me check GFS to see if they have it a little harder. Yeah, GFS has it actually coming directly over the Coral Sea Island territory, directly into Queensland before it starts to make its turn. I have always gone with GFS because usually it's more strict, and the ECM has this coming at a very strange different angle and stopping at halfway. The Cyclone Jasper stops halfway. The GFS though has it coming much closer to shore, and this is where it's going to become dangerous because it's going to be, let me get rid of that. It is going to be supercharging wind, supercharging currents, and supercharging the air pressure. Instead of having this gap of this buzzsaw in the sky over water, it is refusing to come up on land because land for a hurricane, for a cyclone like this, is death. So it's going to want to steer away. The GFS has it coming up that much closer. That is a lot more concerning because the ECM modeling has it going way further north, barreling into the northern peninsula of Queensland, instead of hitting a direct hit. Is like going to be Brisbane. If this goes over Brisbane and other areas, there's going to be extreme amounts of flooding because soil's already uh very precipitated. So this rain, they get 12, 16 inches of rain, 4 to 6 inches an hour. This could be months of rain that falls on Australia in just a few short days. This is alarming. This has become a Category 4 cyclone now, so it's coming up with a lot of speed and a lot of force as it drives itself like a giant sphere in the water. It is monumental. That is, any wildfires are seriously far away from society because it's going to. The best way, the analogy that I could use is a magic trick. I don't do magic. I don't know magic. I don't care about magic. But pulling tissues that are tied up, or Kleenex or whatever the hell they use, napkins, those sheets, pulling it out of your wrist, out of your sleeve, out of your sleeve, it just keeps coming. You just keep pulling it out, and it's just making a mess everywhere. Like that. It's going to start slowly pulling out the sleeve, and then it's just going to rip it out. I would go with the GFS modeling here. It's very near the situation becoming pretty dire, and this is so much further north than Brisbane. This is going to be between Mackay and Townsville, but the storm will still want to put itself up on the land. That's how it's going to die. So this is just Sunday. Okay, so GFS does have it going north of Townsville, barreling into Cairns. Both of them have that. But the GFS has it turning much, much, much later. And again, this is the problem because any wildfires, lightning starts wildfires, anything from the storms. And plus, the dynamics of the air pressure system is going to change. We're going to see any wildfires that take hold are just going to go. At this point, because it is just, the fans are being beaten. I mean, the flames are being beaten by hurricane force winds. This is a problem because little wildfires that were thought to be smoldering can become extreme, dangerous hazards in an extreme short amount of time. We're talking wildfires that go from just a couple of kilometers, square kilometers, to racing 400 kilometers overnight. These are events that has happened before. It is terrifying, but it's good to be prepared and it's good to know. Especially with this Cyclone Jasper, it is either way, either modeling, it's going to approach land, but it's not going to be a Category 4, Category 2 when it reaches land. However, its spiral arms, while it's Category 4, can send out very, very violent, very heavy storms out of every time that it goes in a circle and it pushes out another storm. And then it's going to swish all of that in between Cairns and the tropical cyclone. Absolutely unreal amount of danger. Right now, it's over the Solomon Islands as a Category 2. So they're seeing some rain up there, but it's not picking up as a category 4 until Thursday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, UTC time. Here we have false color. Looking for some wildfires, like right here. Take this bushfire for example. They're only so big right now, but when you rip it out, it's gonna cause the fire to race northeast. This can happen, and this can be very deadly, very dangerous. Very, very extreme fire behavior is. I apologize if you can hear the dogs barking. There's doggos, don't worry. So this the cone of uncertainty keeps moving a little bit, but I think they pretty much nailed it. It's getting close to the point of where this thing is going to turn, and depending on how far close it comes to Australia before Monday is staggering, the differences. Talking about another 500 kilometers closer to Queensland, based on whichever model that you. This must be the ECMWF, so it's pumping the brakes on the storm a lot sooner before it starts to turn. Unlike the GFS modeling has it, it's going directly into between Townsville and Mackay before it starts turning into Cairns. So either way, Cairns to Townsville is going to be hit by this as a less than tropical, I believe, less than a Category 2 tropical cyclone. Now let's go back a few hours. Oh, huh? I gotta be sure about this. Okay, this is not cloud coverage. It's smoke. Because these are all fires. Go back a little more. This is the kind of activity that I was referring to. Ripping out smoke from the ground. Massive blazes. I think it's by Tumakumba. Tumakumba? This already looks like a disaster waiting to happen. Because all of this. That's a wildfire. 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 Here's one. Another one. Another one. These are all the bases of all these fires. Now you take all these fires, they're going this way, and you take it all and then it starts pulling it. The difference is it's not blowing that way. Smoke doesn't move on its own. Smoke is carried. Smoke transits. Smoke will stick with other smoke and make a strength, make a connection with the smoke and strengthen it like a support bridge. So you have all this smoke going this way. None of these fires are going to be covered with smoke because it's all blowing out to the west. And then you have all of these naked fires get exposed to ripping hurricane force winds that just have no buffer zone in between that and the fire and the amount of air pressure that's going to rip it out. And that is going to cause all those fires to burn east, northeast extremely fast. It's going to cause an explosion of fire activity because we're looking at these fires right now and they're massive. There's only a few short days until Sunday afternoon. Start seeing the effects of the hurricane while it gets the cyclone while it gets closer to the shore. Two different modeling, but both of them have it hitting up the northern peninsula of Queensland. So this is going to be pretty ridiculous. Because right here, you're going to have all this smoke west, and you're going to have all the fires getting pulled extreme amounts out east. So let's say this fire burns more east, it pulls back and just hits underneath all of that smoke because it's going to get hot. It's going to get real hot. This is the most fire I think I've seen in Queensland. And Queensland too is seeing a lot of precipitation. But this is looking horrible. Another fire up here. I don't think it, because of the way the satellite's moving across, I don't think that's causing an alteration of the smoke to appear worse. I think these are just getting worse as the day progresses. And it just coincidentally just the line of termination goes over it. And when it gets dark, you can't see the wildfires and you can't see the smoke anymore. That's why we only play around during the day. These wildfires are looking huge. This is by Ingham. I don't see anything regarding these. These are wildfires that have been by Hope Vale pretty much the entire fire season. Well, this is going to be something that we'll keep an eye on and monitor. Because as of right now, this is looking pretty intense. All this is burned land here, scarred land. Alright, well, that is all I have for this uh, regarding the wildfires. A, burning in Queensland, Australia. B, it's very moist, soil moisture, everything's looking good, which will lead to probably record flooding when it comes to this storm going over Queensland. Not just its core, but each spiral arm that comes over, it's going to lose one of those arms and it's going to go over as a giant storm. And since it's so moist already and the drought is just completely imbalanced between Western Australia and Queensland. Queensland's seeing record amounts of rain, record amounts of precipitation and soil moisture, and it's going to be just extreme flooding. I don't see anything else besides extreme flooding for Queensland, all the way up to Cairns. You can see as far south as Brisbane. So we'll see. I'll follow up with this if the cone of uncertainty changes too much, but or if there's any other wildfires. Uh, Please like and subscribe. Helps me out immensely, and I will see you soon. Take care.